It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas everywhere you go. Take a look at the 5 and 10. It's glistening once again with candy canes and silver lanes that glow. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. Toys in every store, but the prettiest sight to see is the holly that will be on your own front door. A pair of hop-along boots and a pistol that shoots is the wish of Barney and Ben.
I'm just going to give you a quick presentation about homelessness in Toronto. I don't know how much you know about homelessness, especially youth homelessness in Toronto. So just a quick overview of what that looks like, some stats, answer a question of like, why do people end up homeless? What's kind of the road to homelessness? And then I'm going to show a short video that we just made where we interview one youth that we've been working with who lives under the Gardner, right at Spadina. So there's like an off-ramp and they live under there. So yeah. So youth homelessness. In Toronto, about 10,000 homeless youth any year, give or take. There's about 2,000 homeless youth on any given night, and this includes people who are living on the street, who are couch surfing, and people who are incarcerated or in a hospital, but they don't have anywhere to go once they're released. 50% come from middle to upper class homes. Most are actually not from Toronto proper. There are a lot of people who travel to Toronto, and then sometimes they get stuck here. Lots of times they're fleeing something back in their hometown, and they come to Toronto because they know that there's a lot of services available, so that's how they end up in Toronto. And 70% have experienced some sort of abuse, so physical, emotional, sexual. So oftentimes when people ask me, how does somebody end up homeless? Many times it's because they've experienced some sort of abuse at home, and the streets are kind of seen as a safer place for them. So like I said, unfortunately, that is not the case. The streets typically are not safer. Depending on where they're coming from. But the streets are not a safe place. So the fact that they do see it as a safer place than their home says a lot about how bad their home actually is. So you're about 11 times more likely to die if you live on the streets than somebody who is housed, for instance. You are at a far greater risk for suffering physical or sexual assault. So it's actually a very sad statement that oftentimes they're fleeing abuse and yet they experience a lot of abuse when they actually do find themselves on the streets. Particularly young women, they're in a really, really vulnerable place. Just think about, when you go home, you have a door that you can close and lock. If you don't have that, you are really vulnerable. You're really open to somebody who maybe wants to take advantage of you. So that's our motto. I believe it is a Chinese proverb, but I don't remember. So better to light a candle than curse the darkness, and that's what we try to do. We go into sometimes some dark places and just be with people, let them know that they're valuable, that they're loved, that there's somebody that cares about them, and then through building a relationship with them, the hope is that we can then help transition them off the streets. So this is just about, Light Patrol is part of Youth for Christ, or Youth Unlimited. We're a religious organization, and they have chapters all over the place. I just want to be clear, we're open about our faith, but that's no barrier. We serve anybody, any religion, any background that they have. There's no barriers to service whatsoever. And we oftentimes will only bring it up with people who we know, and we try and do it in a very respectful way. So just to be clear, so you don't feel like we're turning anybody away if they don't believe what we do. We do not do that. And I'm just going to go quickly over the 5 main things that we do. So Light Patrol does curb light, and that is, if anybody knows anything about Light Patrol, that's typically the thing that they know about. We go out in this big red RV, and we go around downtown, mostly along the Spadina corridor, and then we go over to Bathurst as well, and we just provide basic needs, so food, clothing, we have some like hygiene items, and some of those blankets will make it onto our RV as well, and we'll connect with people. And the point is we're trying to build relationships. Like, we give out that stuff and it's good and it's necessary and it's stuff that is helpful for them. But because it's an RV, we we can actually invite them onto the vehicle and spend time with them, get to know them, get to know, you know, what's going on in their life, where they're coming from, where they want to go, and then through that, that's really where we're able to build relationship, and then from there work with them to hopefully help them get off the streets.
For the blankets. They did this last year as well. We give it out at our Christmas party. So everybody that we connect with on the streets, we invite them to a Christmas party that we have, and we have a full turkey dinner. And then at the end, we have them go to this big room where we give out a bunch of stuff. And the blankets are one of the things that we give out, and they were a huge hit last year. They're quite comfortable and quite warm. So thank you very much for that. It will be going to youth and some adults who either are living on the street or who are have found their way into housing, but oftentimes when they're in housing, the housing isn't, it's not that great. and they don't have a lot of stuff, so oftentimes they don't even really have blankets, even if they say have a mattress. So these blankets are actually really helpful for them, and they enjoy it. So we will give out those blankets. They will be very much appreciated. Thank you again. Yeah, I don't know. It's too bad you can't see how excited they get about receiving them, but just know that it's good. You guys have done a good thing, and it does make a difference. It's meaningful to them, so thank you. Really appreciate it.